Welcome everyone, Richman here again. I'm going to take you through one of my arm workouts. So basically it's a tricep and bicep workout. Arms are not really a big body part, so you really don't need to do a whole whack of sets and a whole whack of exercises. Basically you want to just get in, get pumped, and get out. I'm going to start with tricep rope extensions. Not really totally warmed up, so this is a good exercise before getting to those heavy compound movements. For a movement like this, usually you don't feel a pump within the first 8 to 10, so usually I like to get between 15 and 20 and really squeeze. I feel like I can do more than 20, then I'll do more than 20, but I do have a ballpark of a number I'm trying to get to. Training is instinct. You don't just stop because a number tells you. A lot of people make training complicated. It's not, it's very simple. As you're pushing down, you should breathe out, and as the weight comes up, that's when you take your breath in. A lot of other factors that affect your performance in the gym. Rest, nutrition, even the time of day that you train. Normally I like to train in the evening around 6. I'm getting 4 meals in at least before that. I'm probably going to have more energy, be able to be a little bit stronger than if I trained after 1 meal. A lot of people do this exercise wrong. Generally what I see is most people's arms are too far forward. It should be nice tucked in close to you. You want to kind of bend over a little bit to get a little bit of momentum, not a lot. Basically you're just pushing down with your triceps, trying to keep your elbows nice tucked in and close together. If you're not feeling into triceps, you know you're doing something wrong. So this exercise is a little more taxing on the body because you're using more things, shoulders, chest, so you might want to take a little more time doing exercises like this, and you're obviously going a lot heavier as well. The most important thing with this exercise is hand position. Basically you want it about shoulder width apart, maybe move a little closer. These bars are great because they have this smooth surface here, so I know that I put my index finger right there, and that's going to give me a safe distance. If I go further away, then I'm working my chest. Some people, however, go too close. If you come down, you're just going to cause more tension to your elbows. A lot of pain, and I've had elbow problems in the past, so definitely not going to do that. The hand position is very important. The last thing is when you take the bar down, you want to come down just below your chest here, push straight up. You feel it. That's where the mind-muscle connection comes in. You got to be thinking when you're doing your exercise, am I feeling it in the triceps? Am I doing that? So I always want to use clips. You never know, accidents can happen. The worst thing you want to have is one side, not be able to get up, and then it slip, the weight fall, you're just going to have a huge mess. Five. I'm going to drop it 1. Usually I don't like to do less than 6. When I did the 315, I wasn't planning on taking a plate off. I had a number, I wanted to go for 8 reps, ended up getting 5. I could be discouraged and say, oh, that was horrible, but I turned into a positive. That's what I mean when I say training instinctive. So my third exercise is just old school dips. Positioning, once again, seems to be a common theme. If you actually go too far forward, you're going to hit more of your chest. You want to make sure that your body's 90 degrees when you're going up and when you're coming down. That way you know you're hitting your triceps. Any tricep movement is a pushing motion. The other thing is going low enough. A lot of people only move like 1 or 2 inches. You got to make sure that you go as far down as you can and then push back up. Your triceps will tire out a lot faster if you do that. But also, that's the point of the exercise, is you basically want to tire out the muscle and then move on. I prefer body weight. I've just done 315 on close grip bench, so my triceps are pretty exhausted. Usually I get between 15 and 20, sometimes more, so we'll see. Some people do wear a belt and they put a plate and stuff. I'm not totally against it, but that's where you also see people when their technique isn't very good. They're actually leaning forward to support themselves, or they're doing, you know, they're kind of flinching, or the movement isn't smooth, and as soon as you're fidgeting or whatever, you know it's taking away from the muscle and contracting it properly. That last set, I just did 25 reps. I had a number in my head, which was 20, so that's what I did in the first set. If you know you can do more, you got to do more. It's pushing yourself beyond limits that you think are possible, but you won't know that until you actually do it. You want to have a plan, but at the same time, your plan can change. Definitely a great pump for tricep. It's an old school exercise, but it's a good one. Last exercise I'd like to do, just try to get that last little blood into the tricep. Just a single arm tricep push down. Nothing too fancy, just kind of mimics, you do it like a side tricep. That's one thing I just learned recently. Focus on actually using the exercise as a pose you would do on stage. So where you come down like this, and you hit your pose, I'm trying to mimic that same movement with the actual exercise. I've been doing it the last few days, and my body's definitely felt a lot more from it. So I rest a lot less, just because this is not really taxing. I'm not pushing heavy weight off myself or anything like that. It's just going for that pump until you can't go anymore. All right, so triceps are done. 4 exercises, not a lot of time. As you can probably tell, my arm's a little swollen, so a good swollen, meaning the blood's all pumped in there. Next we're going on to biceps. I usually do one warm-up just because I haven't really done any bicep movements, so I usually pick up about 30 pounds. Should never want to get injured. A couple things to note for this exercise: shoulders are back, just because no one wants to have shoulders forward. It's going to take away from your chest, especially if you want to be a bodybuilder. Stepping on stage, nothing worse than somebody with shoulders that looks like this and they have no chest. The other thing is, as I bring the weight up, I try and curl it towards the outside. I could bring it up like that, but right now it's not fully contracted. If I turn it to a little bit to the side, away from me, now it's fully contracted. This gives you that, I'd say 15-20% more squeeze to the bicep, that's all. It's no different when you're hitting it, and you want to rotate your wrist back a little bit. That way you get more of a peak when you're hitting it. Bicep shot. You notice too that the weights are always pyramiding up. You start with the heaviest weight first, you're just risking injury. So I always like to start with a weight that I'm comfortable with, and then gradually try and move the weight up between 5 and 10 pounds. Right arm's a little stronger than my left. I was finding I would start with my right, and I could do so much more. By the time I got to my left, I was doing like half the number of reps. So I usually like to start with the weakest arm first. That way when you tire out, you know tire out with your stronger arm last. Now I don't always train bis and tris together. Training, much like diet, I feel, needs to be changing. You can't stay the same the whole way through. That's why when anyone ever diets for a show, there's certain phases that you go through. If you don't make those changes to your diet, you're not going to see results on stage. So why would that not apply to training? It doesn't have to change every day, but there needs to be a change there. Otherwise your body's just going to get too used to it, and it's going to lose its effectiveness. Second exercise, preacher curl, using an easy curl bar here. I like to do this because the alternate dumbbell curl, you can kind of cheat a little bit. You can kind of swing. This allows for stricter form because your elbows are against this pad. There's nowhere for you to go. That's the only thing, is you want to make sure that you get that deep stretch. You go as far down as you can, so your arm is almost straight, and then you bring it back up. If you do anything less than that, you're not doing the exercise fully. And of course, always going to failure. Even back to the way Arnold said, so the last 3 or 4 reps that you don't think you can do. That's what really makes the muscle grow. And it's true. For dumbbell hammer curls, I do a little variation. Some people do the same. Usually the standard way of teaching is just kind of coming up like this. Same thing, I don't feel you get full contraction. So what I try and do is come to the side of my body and then turn the dumbbell away from me to get that extra 15 to 20% squeeze. At the same time, I like to hold the weight in the other arm. Some people will just grab one weight and do this, and then the other. I just find keeps your body stable. Hold it on the one side as well. There you know why I start with the left first. Even though this is the stronger arm, I still struggle with those last couple. But I was able to do it. If I started with the right arm, I probably couldn't have done those last 2 reps. Just strength isn't there. 3 sets does it for me. Some people might do 4. Just do it, get it pumped, and then get out. And that's hammers for you. Now, last exercise, cable easy curl. Last exercise, so I'm not really focusing on weight too much. I'm just focusing on trying to get that extra squeeze. Feet relatively close together. You want to lean back a little bit because you have the cable to help you. And you want to make sure your shoulders are back and chest is out. Really focus on trying to squeeze. If your shoulders are forward, chest is forward, it's going to take away from being able to contract your arms fully. I was trying to execute everything to the best that it can be executed, and eliminating body parts that could interfere with the exercise itself. Grip 2, some people when they do an exercise, they go, oh, I really felt that on my wrist and my forearm starting to bother me. It's because you're squeezing too hard. You want to squeeze obviously hard enough so that you're not going to lose your grip, your hand's going to fall off. But at the same time, if you grip too hard, focusing on all their energy on trying to hold that bar, it's going to take away from the muscle that you should be using, or that energy that could be used. So grip, yes, but try and have a comfortable grip that's firm enough that you're not going to lose your grip, but at the same time you're not stressing your forearms and your wrist. There you have it.